All right, let's dive into something pretty wild. We're talking about a ticking time bomb, and it's hidden deep inside your cells. Seriously, it's this potential catastrophe that evolution, over millions of years, had to figure out how to defuse. It was a do-or-die situation for pretty much every species on Earth, including, you guessed it, us.
So, let's just start with a kind of surprising question. Did you know you have two genomes? Yeah, I know, you're probably thinking about the classic double helix, right? The one you get from both your parents, all packed up nice and neat in the nucleus of your cells. But what if I told you there's another one, a second, completely separate set of DNA hiding in there?
And that is mitochondrial DNA, or what scientists call mtDNA. It's this tiny but oh so critical genome, and it's found inside your mitochondria. You remember those from biology class, right? The little powerhouses in our cells? They're the ones turning your lunch into the energy that's keeping you going right now. Without this second genome, our cells would just run out of juice, literally.
Okay, so we've got this other genome, but here's the thing. It doesn't play by the same rules as the DNA in your nucleus, not even close. And that difference, well, it creates a massive, massive problem.
And this is where we find that time bomb I was talking about. It all comes down to how this second genome gets passed on. The inheritance process is totally different, and frankly, it is packed with risk.
Okay, so think about your main genome, the one from both parents. It's kind of like a Google Doc with a bunch of collaborators and a full version history. You get mixing and matching of genes, which lets you proofread and fix errors. It's a great system. But your mitochondrial DNA, that's inherited only from your mother. There's no backup, no second copy to check it against. And that makes it super, super vulnerable to mutations just piling up over time. And that vulnerability, it leads to this really scary sounding thing called mutational meltdown. And it's as bad as it sounds. If you don't have a way to fix the mistakes, these harmful mutations could just build up generation after generation, passed down from mother to child. Eventually, the whole cellular power grid could just fail. It's a scenario that could literally threaten the survival of an entire species. And, as we're about to see, when this system breaks down, it's at the heart of some of our worst diseases.
So, that's a big problem, right? If this mtDNA is so fragile, so prone to error, how are we even here? How have we all avoided this meltdown? How does life make sure the little power plants we inherit are actually, working? That's the big mystery we're going to unpack.
Right, so for years, scientists have basically been detectives on this case. And they knew there were two big clues, two defense systems that our cells have up their sleeves to protect the quality of our mitochondrial DNA.
So let's take a look at these two super clever ways evolution has armed our cells. These are our front lines of defense against that mutational meltdown.
Okay, defense number one is called the genetic bottleneck. Here's how to think about it. Imagine all of a mother's mitochondrial DNA is like a huge bag of marbles. Some of them are perfect, but some are chipped and damaged. Now, instead of passing down the entire bag, nature just reaches in and grabs a small, random handful to put into the egg cell. Because it's random, it means that just by pure luck, some offspring are going to get a way healthier set of mtDNA than their mom had overall.
All right, so the second defense is totally different. It's less about luck and more about being deliberate. It's called purifying selection. And this is like having a super strict quality control inspector on the cellular assembly line. Its whole job is to actively spot and get rid of the defective mtDNA while the egg cell is developing.
So scientists knew about these two systems, right? The random bottleneck and the quality control inspector. But for the longest time, there was this huge missing piece of the puzzle. Did they have anything to do with each other? And if so, how? And that's where a recent breakthrough just changes the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, was the random marble grab totally separate from the picky inspector? Or was there some kind of hidden connection? That was the exact question that researchers at the Karolinska Institute wanted to figure out.
And what they found is the key that connects everything. Get this. They discovered that a smaller genetic bottleneck, so grabbing an even tinier handful of those mtDNA marbles,
actually leads to a stronger, more effective quality control system. They aren't two separate things at all. They're totally linked. A tighter bottleneck actually supercharges the quality control inspector, making it way better at spotting and throwing out the bad copies.
The lead researcher, Niels Goran Larsen, basically said it all. The size of that bottleneck, how many marbles you grab, is the thing that determines how well the quality control works. It's a direct link, a mechanism that explains how our cells have managed to keep their power plants healthy for, well, millions and millions of years. But okay, how does the cell actually get rid of the bad copies? Well, researchers figured that out too. They identified the actual machinery, a process called autophagy. You can think of it as the cell's cleanup crew or recycling system. So once the quality control inspector flags a mitochondrion as defective, autophagy is the team that comes in, wraps it up, and breaks it down for parts. It's taken out of circulation for good.
Okay, so this is all really cool cell biology, but what does it actually mean for us, for our health? Well, this isn't just some abstract puzzle about evolution. This discovery has huge implications for medicine.
And here's why you should care. Because when this incredibly fine-tuned system of quality control breaks down, the consequences can be absolutely devastating.
Having damaged mitochondrial DNA isn't a small problem. It's linked to a whole range of really serious conditions. We're talking about severe mitochondrial disorders, neurodegenerative diseases, some types of diabetes, even cancer. And yeah, it's even connected to the overall process of aging. All of these things are tied to the health of our tiny cellular power plants.
And that's what's so powerful here. As one of the researchers, Laura Kramer, explained, this work gives us a much clearer map of what's going on. By finally understanding how the bottleneck and the quality control are connected, we can start to figure out exactly where the system breaks in human disease. And that opens the door to totally new ideas for how to fix it.
Which just leaves us with this incredible, forward-looking question. Now that we understand the mechanism, could we one day learn how to tune it? Could we actually boost our cells' own natural quality control systems to stop mitochondrial damage from building up in the first place and maybe, just maybe, prevent or even treat some of our toughest diseases? That's the brand new frontier this discovery has just opened up.